Hey, what's up, guys? This is Evan, Retro Redneck. We're here at Waybacks in the office. Today is going to be the first of our weekly, hopefully, if I can get off my butt and do them, weekly games showcase, highlight, whatever you'd like to call it. So we're going to pick one game every week. This week, we're going to do the ever popular Tron. For the user. So before we get started, shout out the drink of the day. I haven't done that in a while. This is a Sandbar Blonde by Huckleberry Brewery. This is actually a local brewery. They're right across the river, 15 minutes up the road, maybe 10. Anyway, it's a good amber. Well, not amber. It's a blonde ale, clearly, but it's pretty good stuff. So if you're ever in Louisiana around Alexandria, Pineville, of course, come check out Wayback's Arcade, where you'll be able to try Tron, our feature game of this week, and then swing on over to Huckleberry Brewery and get you a Sandbar Blonde Ale. So without further ado, let's head out to the game floor and check it out. All right, guys. So here we go. Out of the rhythm room, into the fighters and the pinballs. Where is Tron? Where could it be? We have to find Flynn. We have to save the grid for the users. The users. I always thought that was funny for some reason. What a great game, though. What a great movie. So, for those of you not in the know, Tron is actually older than I am. So Tron came out in '82. The game and the movie were both released mostly together. I think there was a couple weeks difference or something. Anyway, so what wound up happening is they had two different development teams, right? There she is, the grid. So anyway, back to the two different development teams, right? So there was a vector team. They were going to do it in vector graphics, kind of like Star Wars over there, asteroids. Asteroids, marquee is out. We need to fix that. But ultimately, they decided to go with a system that they already had that was reliable. They used it for Spy Hunter and several other games, but that was the MCR2 board set, if I'm not mistaken. And what that board set did, especially that let it shine, was it let you use different peripherals other than just a standard, 4-way, 8-way joystick and buttons. And if you've ever played Tron, matter of fact, they just on the screen just now. But you got a flight joystick with a trigger. And then you have the old handy dandy spinner, which I've always been a fan of the spinner. I don't know why more arcades games didn't incorporate it. But this is our Tron I got from my buddy Jason in Monroe. This one has been out on Waybacks ever since we opened. Like, I had, I want to say, 24-ish arcade cabinets at the very beginning. And Jeremy and I were concerned that wouldn't quite be enough to get people in the door. So I brought my buddy Jason a pile of money and been like, hey, man, what all you got? And he hooked us up with some cool stuff. He hooked us up with a beautiful Rampage that's down at the end. 4-player Rampage, great game. But then he hooked me up with this Tron, and it needed some love. Still had the original T-Molten. There was no back at all on this Tron. So I had to rebuild the back. The boards were just kind of laying in there. But, we got it all up and running. This thing has been notorious for some reason. The black light LED that you see right there that lights up all the cool, badass black light artwork, it kept going out, and then the under marquee kept going out. It doesn't matter how many transformers, ballasts, bulbs I changed, it just always kept going out, and it's driving me nuts. So we finally just said screw it and updated to LED black lights, which I was real reticent about doing because of the dots as opposed to one smooth piece like a fluorescent would be. But honestly, it makes it glow so much. It's freaking awesome. I love it now. So I'm glad we did that. Anyway, back to the game. So it's MCR2 board set, which, let's see, other than Spy Hunter, I think Tapper and Timber used it. And of course, Discs of Tron. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Disc of Tron, but it was actually supposed to be incorporated into this game. What this game is 4 mini games, right? So you go on the main grid, you got, there we go, MCR blocks, tanks, MCP cone, and light cycles. Well, Disc of Tron was supposed to be the 5th game, but in order to get it out in time for the movie release, they had to skip it, and so they made a standalone game of it. And it was really cool because it had the same layout, but instead of just the spinner just spinning, you could actually push it and pull it. This one is just a static spinner, but the push-pull lets you aim where you're throwing the disc on the grid. And they had 2 versions of this. So they had the stand-up that looks similar to this, and then they had a sit-down version, an environmental. And the difference between the environmental and the stand-up is the environmental had like a background, kind of like Asteroids Deluxe does here. Like, the game is only the text that you see, like all the asteroids and everything. It's done with a 2-way mirror. It's very cool. But it had that, and then it also had Sark's voice. So he would like call out and talk trash and all that. Anyway, guys, so this is the Tron, and we'll do a little quick gameplay. I suck at Tron, by the way. Like, I'm horrible. So don't expect some world record happening going on. But let's give it a shot. Alright guys, so here we are. New and improved POV camera. I'm going to try to play this without screwing up too bad. So, you start a game, and you got these 4 different colors, and you have no idea, it's random which one's going to be which, so you bring your dot in. Sorry, so we got the MCP cone. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm actually okay at that. So the goal is to get to the cone in the middle. I suck. See, I was talking trash, now I suck. But you blast away the RGB color schemes, and if you can get them all, then you get bonus points. So I try, but there's no way I'm getting it now. Yeah, I missed the bonus points. But anyway, you get to the cone and go up, and it's marked. And see, if I'd have died, it would have been marked, and then you know it's MCP cone. See, we got spiders on the grid now, which the spiders were supposed to be in the movie, but they didn't quite make it. Disney cut it. So that would have been kind of cool to see. I was kind of hoping they'd have put them in Legacy as well, but they left them out again. So the arcade looks kind of strange. But anyway, you got to get in the circle before the time runs up. First levels aren't too bad. They really show their colors afterwards. Tanks. I hate the tanks. The tanks are my worst. Supposedly, if you can get in between the lines, kind of in this center without actually going in, the tank doesn't see you, but he can still ram you. So, see, we died. Now it's marked by a tank. try it one more time. But yeah, you use your spinner to change the angle of the turret. If you go through the center, it'll warp you randomly. So this one's actually my favorite, probably everybody's favorite, the light cycle. I always kind of discovered this first wave, if you do like a P, you can make them crash and take your time. The patterns for the others I'm not too familiar with. So we knew the top was light cycle before. It's not going to be this time, spiders. But that's kind of random. You never know what you're going to get. It's kind of the game's way of making sure that you don't last longer than they want you to, and you keep pumping quarters in. But at Waybacks, no need to pump quarters. I screwed up. Anyway, the goal of that, you move his arm. Same with MCP Home. You move his arm with the spinner to shoot. I think the spinner is only not used in light cycles. My last light would be tanks, wouldn't it? No! Not faster than the bullets. Too used to Pac-Man. Anyway, my game is over. I did not save the users. I'm really terrible at Tron. But at least I was up front with it. Anyway, guys, it's our first weekly game here. Let me know what y'all think. Come out to Waybacks, check out Tron for the user.
Hey, who's that guy?
That's Tron. He fights for the users.
Tron.